It's what Mondays were made for. It's time I tell you what we learned from the opening weekend in the Championship. It's so good to be back. Birmingham's new additions are already making an exciting impact. Already, I really like how Birmingham's new signings have integrated and made a positive impact on this team. And actually, the new partnerships already seem to be pretty visible. Aside Samuels, his ability 1v1 stood out for me. The right back won 4 out of his 5 ground duels. During the 90, made 5 recoveries and created a chance too. Further up the pitch, I think we all saw exactly why Kyogo has been brought in. He absolutely oozes confidence in front of goal. He obviously hit the woodwork, but I also thought his personal heat map from the game was really interesting too and reinforced the idea that the guy wants to be in the box. He wants to be the most advanced Birmingham player, and he was. He touched the ball 4 times inside the Ipswich Town box. As for Ipswich, I think they require attacking reinforcements before the window closes. I think it's fair to say Ipswich walked away from Friday night feeling quite fortunate. And when we delve into the numbers, especially going forward, that emotion feels pretty justified, I think. It's no question that the lack of Amari Hutchinson's influence in the attacking zones hinder that side significantly. Kieran McKenna's side registered a non-penalty XG of just 0.47 and not a single shot on target from open play. I was really disappointed by the lack of impact of both Clark and Ogbene on either side. The pair mustered up just 1 successful dribble between the two of them and didn't accumulate a single shot or chance during the 90 minutes. I mean, that's a worry, and McKenna quite rightly looked frustrated post-match. It was a frustrating watch for Oxford United fans on Saturday against Pompey, and it became abundantly clear very early that Oxford have not yet resolved their creative issues from open play. Now, what could be quite misleading is they had an XG of 1.37. There were 18 shots taken by Oxford players. The problems become a bit more obvious when I tell you their open play XG sat at 0.27. Oxford had 13 shots from inside the box. 11 of them were either from a long throw or a corner. I mean, that's scary, isn't it? That's a big, big problem. It's only the first game, but I'll be honest with you, I'm slightly concerned by it. As debuts go, I thought Adrian Sekicic was absolutely magnificent, and it won't take long until he's a fan favourite at Pompey. The roaming creative role that John Mousinho allowed him to play worked a treat. And when you look at his heat map, it's evidently clear just how many dangerous pockets of space he occupied and his willingness to get himself inside the box too. He actually had the most touches inside the opposition box for Pompey. The Australian attempted and completed the joint most dribbles in the game, and look how many times he touched the ball in and around zone 14. The heat map was a guide, but this touch map is conclusive. His ability to drift and dribble on either side of the pitch caused Oxford problems throughout. His positioning for the goal, perhaps slightly fortunate, but that's where you want your number 10 to be. Championship opponents, watch out for Adrian Sekicic. If you don't, it'll cause you problems big time. Stoke's additions in the final third look to have revamped their ability to create and convert chances. I thought Stoke were brilliant on the opening weekend, and there was a sense of control. Stoke had 68% of the ball, completed 168 passes inside the opposition half, but crucially looked so effective in possession. Perhaps their XG could have been slightly higher, but they still took 12 shots, had 7 on target, and created 4 big chances. Their attack looked revitalized. The heat map of Sorbatobas stood out for me. His freedom allowed him to drift and find space across all areas of the final third. He registered a goal and an assist, racking up 4 chances along the way to it. Might be the first game, but are we about to see an attractive front-footed Stoke City team? They've encouraged me on Saturday. They have. Really impressed by Stoke City. It seems Derby's ageing starting 11 severely lacked any kind of creative dynamism. Derby fielded the oldest starting 11 in the Championship on the opening day with an average age of 28.5, with 2 players over the age of 33. However, my biggest concern from Derby's 3-1 defeat against Stoke is their severe lack of creative threat and the profile of players they're trying to lean on in those zones. Derby registered an open play XG of just 0.25, failed to create a single big chance, with the goal being their only shot on target that wasn't from a set play. The midfield trio of Adams, Kenzo and Thompson looked off, with none of them creating a chance during the match. If you look at Derby's average positions, Ebou Adams was their most advanced midfielder on Saturday, and we all know Abu Adams is not a natural creator. He can carry the ball, he can certainly break up play, but he's not the profile that causes you problems in zone 14. More spark and a bit more stardust needed for Derby, in my opinion, but at least if there is a shining light, Carlton Morris got up and running early, and that is a positive. I'm just going to really quickly jump in and tell you about the new prediction app I've been working closely with lately, Tipple, and why I need you to compete with me and join my mini league. EFL fans, we've been crying out for this for some time now, and it's finally here. No scorelines, no budgets, no transfers, just simply calling home, draw, or away. And right now you can join my league when you download the app using the link in the description for free using the code ZG8172. That's ZG8172. Also, as a little incentive, I've kept it nice and easy. If you beat me and the others all competing in my mini league, you'll win £50 come the end of the season. So a bit of fun. Anyway, right, on with the video. I'm actually going to combine Southampton's and Wrexham's lessons together because weirdly, the final point relates to them both. If Wrexham are going to concede that much pressure and Southampton are going to create that much pressure in games, they need to be far more clinical in front of goal. It's fair to say Wrexham got a brutal welcome to the Championship, losing the game from a winning position in injury time. And it felt like the word regret summarised their feelings after the match. I don't think we saw anything unexpected in Wrexham's approach. They conceded 75% of the ball, conceded 4.14 XG, conceded 27 shots. I mean, it was a relentless kind of pressure from Southampton, and yet somehow Wrexham walked away feeling like the outcome could have been very different. And I think that's because they still created a really healthy number of opportunities relative to their possession. The metrics suggested they missed 3 big chances, 2 in the first half, 1 in the second half. So the biggest lesson from that game for both teams is it doesn't matter how contrasting your styles of play might be, your conversion must be up to scratch. Borough conceded on average 1.2 goals per 90 last season, but already they look far more comfortable at the back. You can see by looking at Middlesbrough's average positions, Rob Edwards has indeed adopted his favoured 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1 shape, and by having an extra body in that back line, they finally look defensively coherent. Alfie Jones impressed on his debut, and particularly with the ball, he stood out for me. This is the pass map from Middlesbrough, and you can see just how many progressive passes Jones made, whether it be to Silvera playing left wing back or straight into Aidan Morris and Hayden Hackney in the middle. I think he's going to be crucial in build-up for Borough this season. This point is reinforced statistically. I want to tell you that Alfie Jones attempted and completed the most passes on the pitch with 51, whilst passing directly into the final third on 9 occasions. Don't be lazy in thinking just because Rob Edwards likes an extra defender, they can't cause problems going forward, because they absolutely can, and we saw it against Swansea on the opening day. As for Swansea, it seems the lack of attacking midfielder is going to desperately hurt them in the final third. Swansea tried Ethan Galbraith as the most advanced midfielder on Saturday, but I think it's only enhanced the idea that this side is desperately in need of a number 10. Swansea's pass map showed just how flat their central shape was, and the reason this is such a problem is that it drastically limited those forward passing options and almost created this horizontal line of nothing. We all know how important triangles are in build-up, and as the pass map visualises, unfortunately, there just wasn't any at all. Only Swansea's right back, Josh Key, created a single chance during the game, hence the pretty woeful XG of 0.06. That's low. That's a problem. Millwall's use and positioning of their fullbacks is going to cause teams so many problems this season. I need to show you the Millwall average positions from their win over Norwich and highlight the fascinating positioning of both fullbacks, Alfie Doughty and Tristan Kramer. Look how high and wide they played. Both Doughty and Kramer registered an assist. Doughty made 8 passes into the final third and created 3 chances, whilst Kramer on the other side made 7 passes into the final third and created 2 chances. Another benefit we saw from this brave positioning was the tendency for the attacking wide players to drift inside and affect play more centrally. The heat maps of Camille Negley and Femi Aziz often show them finding space inside and around our much-loved Zone 14, the most creative zones on the pitch. So, you hit it first. Don't overcommit players in the wide areas against Millwall. Their advanced fullbacks will hurt you. You've been warned. Forming a new identity and integrating new faces won't happen overnight at Norwich. 7 new players made their Championship debuts for Norwich on Saturday, with 5 starting the game. And it seems Liam Manning's new identity won't become natural overnight. We know Manning is all about control and patient build-up, and you can see by looking at the momentum graph for the first 25 minutes of the game, they showed promising signs. It's what followed that suggested this won't be a quick fix. Norwich might have finished the game with more of the ball, but if we look at their pass map, it evidently shows just how many times they struggled getting the ball into their forward players and actually playing large periods of the game in Millwall's half. They just couldn't really do it. Despite scoring, Josh Sargent had the least touches of any outfield player that played 90 minutes. And when we look at his personal heat map, he's so often dropping deep and searching for the ball. We know he can do that. He's got a brilliant skill set, but just 3 touches inside the opposition box, that can't be a running theme. QPR's fans should find aspects of optimism as this young group continues to learn. There was a feeling of frustration around QPR after their draw to Preston, but I really don't think it's all doom and gloom, and 2 players in particular stood out for me. We'll start at the back with Amadou Mbengwe. I thought he was great. The Senegalese defender racked up 11 defensive actions, a 100% tackle success rate, and actually played the most passes in the game too. He really could be an all-action defender to watch out for this season. I also thought Karamoko Dembele showed glimpses of quality too out wide. His work for the goal was exceptional. Pace, skill, and actually strength to see off 3 players as well. He successfully completed both of his dribbles, made 2 passes into the final third, and had 6 touches inside the opposition box. Keep the boy fit. He could thrive this season. QPR fans, a bit of patience from you, please. Preston's second half performance suggested that they could have brighter moments this season. Preston only registered 2 shots in the first half against QPR, with even that not coming from open play. However, in the second half, they tripled their XG output, had 9 shots, with 7 of those coming from inside the box. That's an improvement. In fact, if we look deeper into our comparison between Preston showing in the first half and the second half, they registered more final third entries, more penalty box entries, more forward passes, more key passes, and more big chances. That's a drastic improvement in offensive metrics. They still might be lacking spark in central areas, and I do have my concerns about their ability to create consistently through the middle, but we're feeling positive on this Monday afternoon, so I quite like Preston after the break. That's where I'll leave it. Charlton's standout abilities defensively looked no different following their promotion into the Championship. Charlton's promotion-winning success last season was built on a strong defensive foundation, and in their first game back in the Championship, we really did not see that change. The Addicts limited Watford to an open play XG of just 0.52, and despite conceding more of the ball, Kaminski only needed to make 1 save, which was a free kick from outside the box. It wasn't much trouble at all. Kane Ramsey and Lloyd Jones picked up where they left off in League One, racking up a combined 23 defensive actions and 12 duels won. Championship teams will need to do something special to break down this Charlton backline. It's the way that Nathan Jones operates. They simply do not care what division they're in. Break us down if you can. Despite Watford's lack of shots, their use of the ball found them in dangerous positions. Now, on face value, 1 shot on target, none from inside the box, an XG of 0.72. Look, it's alarming, but I think some of the positions they found themselves in were encouraging. Watford's midfield combined to register 24 passes into the final third, which is a good, healthy number. It's what happened next that felt quite disjointed. The away side's front 3 averaged a pass success rate of just 63%. They were dispossessed 8 times combined and registered just 2 shots from inside the box. So for me, it comes down to final third decision-making with Watford. Their build-up in the first 2 phases were fine. It's the final bit that needs looking at, because that kind of output from 141 passes inside Charlton's half is a pretty significant problem. Blackburn's front 4 is going to require patience and reinforcement. Blackburn's front line was always going to require a bit of time following the losses of Dolan and Weimann in the summer. I think we saw the evidence of that on Saturday. Blackburn's pass map from the game showed, although the attacking players did receive the ball at times, their understanding between each other just wasn't quite there. In fact, none of Henriksen, Deneve or Hedges made a single pass to striker Ohashi and didn't actually complete a pass to each other either. This left Ohashi pretty isolated, actually. The Japanese striker had the fewest touches of any outfield player, with the front 4 only registering 2 shots during the 90 minutes. That needs some work up there, Blackburn. It certainly does. West Brom's Isaac Price looks like the attacking midfielder that 75% of the Championship are crying out for right now. So many Championship teams are crying out for that bit of stardust in the creative zones. And I think that performance of Isaac Price at the weekend is only going to enhance that jealousy. There's such a refreshing sense of positional flexibility when you watch him play. His heat map from the game on Saturday shows him operating in patches all over the pitch. He's not tied down to just the zones in and around the box, but also in his own half too. He made 22 passes in the game, 5 of which were into the final third, but he also completed 8 passes inside his own half. It shows he's not afraid to come looking for the ball, but also has that fabulous work rate to affect things in numerous areas of the pitch. Of course, he scored the only goal of the game. He also created 2 chances, completed 2 successful dribbles, and registered an XG on target of 1.41. He's going to be a handful this season. You heard it here early. Bristol City's front three will torment Championship teams, particularly in transition. Bristol City's Struber era is well and truly underway, and while that performance was brilliant, the bar has been set. No pressure, Bristol City. I listened to Struber's post-match interview, and he spoke a lot about determination, being aggressive, many trigger moments, and super clean transitions. And he's right. His team adopted all of those principles and tore this Sheffield United team apart. In terms of aggression and trigger moments, Bristol City made 20 tackles, 18 interceptions, 44 recoveries, and when it comes to clean transitions, despite having 26% possession, they made 55 entries into the final third. That was actually more than Sheffield United in the second half, with 153 less passes. Bristol City's pass map was also so encouraging. Look how many triangles were formed all over the pitch and how structurally well balanced they were too. It's so common to see attacking players isolated when a team has little of the ball, but that just wasn't the case. Emil Rees, Scott Twine and Anis Mehmeti combined to receive 25 progressive passes, and at least one of them either scored or assisted all 4 of Bristol City's goals. Sheffield United's back line looks far too disjointed for a side with aspirations of finishing in the higher positions of the table. As first games go for Ruben Sellers at Sheffield United, it couldn't have gone much worse, could it? And defensively in particular, they looked all at sea, from questionable positioning to poor decision-making to an inability to defend any kind of transitional threat. They made so many mistakes, both as a team and also individually. As much as Bristol City were fantastic and they deserve their flowers, and hopefully I've done a good job of doing that, they also handed chances to them on a plate throughout. I'm not quite sure we're going to see Norrington Davies play for Sheffield United again anytime soon. I thought he was, and look, I don't want to individualise this too much, but he was shocking. He was so bad. The defender played 54 minutes, made 1 error that led to a goal, didn't register a single defensive action. Bearing in mind, Bristol City striker Emil Rees registered 2, not a single tackle, no interceptions or clearances, and won just 3 out of his 7 duels. We know Ruben Sellers wants to be brave with his backline, but I can tell you it certainly cannot be that backline that he's brave with, because they were horrendously exposed.